Astronauts report it feels good. T-minus 25 seconds. 20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
What's up, Bills Mafia? Z-Bot. Smoke break. Tuesday night tonight. Rico took over for me last night. I had a pipe dream that I was going to be able to do the show live from my car on the way home from the game. And a pipe dream is exactly what it was. I couldn't get internet connection. And not only that, I find out as I leave the game, I'm like, oh my God, I just feel like I'm going to die. I feel like death. My stomach's killing me. And I just felt like crap. And then I get home and all night I'm up just sick as a dog all day, all night. So insult to injury. Shout out Rico. He's going to be joining me in a second here. We're going to be doing this show together. A lot to talk about, a lot to rant about. Figured there'd be nobody better to do it with than my main man, Rico. He'll be joining me here in a little bit. So I apologize if I come across a bit sick tonight. I am sick, and it's not just because of the Bills. I am actually sick. But I will say, what has trumped that illness that has made me sicker than anything in this world could possibly make me feel sick, it was that game last night. I don't even know where to begin. I've never seen anything quite like it in my entire life. When in regard to football, I've never experienced anything like it. Maybe that's the one silver lining of being at that game, is that I'll never forget it. I think it's for all the wrong reasons though. But I guess when you look at that game, I genuinely believe it is one of those games that we will never forget as Bills fans. I genuinely believe that. I truly in my heart of hearts think that we will think back on this game kind of how we think back on the snow game against the Colts. Just, it was a classic, and because of the weather and, the Bills win in overtime, and ultimately that game wound up being a huge factor in the Bills making the playoffs that year. We'll remember this game for all the wrong reasons, and it's just one of those games that I don't think we'll ever forget. And it's for a multitude of reasons, all pretty much negative, all negative, really. One, of course, you have the weather, and the weather was awful. I mean, I was at that game, and just freezing cold, whipping everywhere. Flurries of snow would pop up here and there. But it was freezing cold, but it was packed. I mean, that stadium was absolutely jumping. You couldn't move in the concourse. Place was absolutely mobbed. And I'll say this, when things started to get going and the lights, were on, and they had the field set up for the intros, and the Buffaloes are out there, how they have them along the tunnel there, and they're doing the player intros for both the Patriots and the Bills. That was one of the most electric environments I've been a part of when it comes to sports in my life. I could feel it throughout my body. It was electric. I mean, I had never been so stoked to be at a game. You could just feel it. You knew how much that game meant. You knew how big the game was, all the different elements that went into that game. And then the fact that it was Monday night, it was at home, and you knew who your opponent was. I don't know, a mixture of all of that, the environment itself and the crowd. It was an amazing feeling to be there. And that feeling went away about, I don't know, almost what felt like instantly. It was such a letdown, because I'm telling you, that initial, the initial beginning to that game was so great. It was so awesome to be there. And by the end of it, I was honestly embarrassed. I was embarrassed for myself. I was embarrassed for our fan base and the 60,000+ people who braved that weather in that stadium to watch that outcome, to watch a team beat us in the fashion that they did. I've never seen a team lose to another team that in that way. I can't even wrap my head around it. And I just felt embarrassed for myself. As I walked out of there, I go, I can't believe I spent money on this. I can't believe I drove all the way there from Rochester, have to drive all the way back, don't get home till 1:30 in the morning. I can't believe I sat in the freezing cold, already not feeling very well, for that. Utterly embarrassed for myself. And I got a feeling that, plenty of other people in that stadium felt the same. And you look around and, every single Patriots fan in that stadium, unbelievable. Every one of them's wearing a Brady jersey, a Gronk jersey. Nobody owns a current jersey. It's amazing. So you look around and it's just, you're reminded of all the terrible moments that the Bills had to endure against the New England Patriots throughout the last 20+ years. And all of those memories get brought right back to the surface, not only because you're playing the Patriots, but because these fans are stuck back in that period too. And you finally think that there's going to come a time where that's going to come to an end. And the ability in the moment to do that was last night. It was last night. And they completely and utterly found every way possible to blow it. They found a way to lose a game in a fashion that I don't know if we'll ever see again. We've never saw it. 3 pass attempts. It's been 24 hours now. I can't wrap my mind around it. And when the game started and New England starts with the ball and they run three run plays to the right side of the line of scrimmage. 2 dives and then that pitch that went awry and the Bills stopped him way in the backfield. And my initial thought was, wow, okay, why would you run 3 plays to the same side when the first 2 had no success whatsoever? And then they did it again. And then they did it again and again and again. And I could not believe it. And that was just through the first quarter. And you blinked and the first half had come to an end and Mac Jones had thrown 1 pass. It felt like they were setting something up all game for there to be an eventual payoff. It felt like they were constantly sticking to the run game to set something else up, and they never did. The only thing that they set up was a W. They threw the ball 3 times. The initial toss in the first quarter was the only one that was worth a damn. That play action pass went for about 15 yards or so. I felt like they were going to do that more often. Didn't happen again. They didn't throw it again until late third on the far right side. It was the fourth quarter, I believe. Who the hell even knows? Didn't throw it again until late second half. I'll just say that. Twice in a row because they were going towards the wind, backed up. And I can't for the life of me, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe what we witnessed last night. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I cannot believe that they lost that damn game. Oh my God. I am just so embarrassed. And let's start here. Let's start here because it's the main story today, right? Jerry Sullivan. Big old time Jerry Sullivan. We all hate him. We all hate Jerry Sullivan, right? Everybody hates him. He's the story today. Not the fact that the Bills lost to a team that threw the ball 3 times. Jerry Sullivan's the story. Jerry Sullivan's the story because he's the D-bag reporter who asked Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer if they were embarrassed. Now, let me start with this. The way he asked it, very pompous, didn't ask it in the right way. Not the right tone. Totally agree. But are we not all a little sick and tired of the same questions to this team week in and week out when they have done the exact same things all year and you get the exact same answer every time? Got to be better. Got to establish the run. Got to be more physical on the offensive line. Okay, those are great answers, except it's not happening, and it's not going to happen. Now, Jerry Sullivan asked that question in the wrong way, 100%. But I have absolutely no problem with asking those guys point blank. And maybe I wouldn't have asked Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde. Maybe I wouldn't have asked those two. Those are probably the last two guys I would ask, because those are two of your cornerstones of that team who rarely, if ever, have a bad moment. So I don't know if I would have asked those guys. But asking this team if they're embarrassed, that's a fair question. That's a fair question, and it should be asked. And nobody else would have the stones to ask it, that's for sure. That's for sure. Richard Forbes coming in. He definitely could have worded it differently. Absolutely. And you could tell the way he asked it. It was smug. He knew what he was doing. That's a problem. And that's why I think the majority of people have an issue with it. And I totally understand that. But the basis of the question, in my opinion, I'm sorry, but it should have been asked. How could you not be embarrassed after that? Embarrassing. It's Monday Night Football. You've had 3 Monday Night Football games at the home stadium since 1974. You haven't won one since 74. And you're finally in a position now, under the lights, Monday Night Football, to regain supremacy of the division that you have not even come close to controlling throughout the last 2 decades. You had 1 year at the top. And you're at home, prime time. And you get a chance to finally prove to everybody it's your division now. And you lose to a team that threw the ball 3 goddamn times. You should be embarrassed. And I'm sorry, but that's a fair question. I don't think it should have been asked to Jordan Poyer or Micah Hyde. I don't necessarily think those are the two people that would be feeling embarrassed about that loss. But collectively, as the team, you're damn right. You're damn right you should be embarrassed. I know I am as a fan. I can't imagine the embarrassment they must feel. And then to add insult to injury. And listen, it wasn't just asked to Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde, by the way. That's the one that's being highlighted. It was also asked to Sean McDermott. There is a level of embarrassment there that should be felt, because it is clearly being felt by the fan base. I know I feel it. Embarrassing. Well, what other way could you describe it? And the ironic thing is, me and my dad were leaving that stadium, and I just said to him, I go, that was just embarrassing. It was so embarrassing to the point where I said, I think this is I go to the majority of the games, home or away. I go to a ton of games every year. I told my dad, I go, I need a break. I can't keep doing this to myself. The amount of work and effort that you gotta put in to go to these games. I understand it's fun and it's something you do in your free time. I'm not saying that I'm crying me a river. I go to the Bills games. I'm not saying that, but it requires a lot of effort, especially on a Monday night when you got to work in the morning. It's late at night. It's freezing damn cold. You know, there's a lot of things that go into this, and to lose that game that way. You walk out and you're just, I can't keep doing this, man. And I said to my dad, I go, I am just embarrassed. I am embarrassed, and I think I need a break. And I think for right now, as of right now, and there's not many more that I'll have the opportunity to go to. But as of right now, I'm not going to another game this year. I can't do it. I can't go to that, because when you lose a game like that, and then you factor in all the elements, the fact that you spent money on that, you spent money to watch this team lose to a team that threw the ball 3 times. This is the NFL in 2021. Winning a game under that fashion should be impossible. Utterly impossible, especially when you're facing a team who I've been told should be making a run at the Super Bowl this year. Are you kidding me? And then everybody wants to crown Belichick. I had no problem with the way McDermott answered that question. That's being left out, by the way. When McDermott was asked about the psychology that goes into coaching against Bill Belichick, and McDermott had said that you shouldn't give more credit to Bill Belichick than is due here. The way he answered it was correct. And everybody wants to make a story about that. Oh, McDermott's saying it wasn't Belichick's, Belichick wasn't the reason they won. That's not what he's saying. He's saying that they flat out blew the game. He's saying that we had the ball starting on the 40-yard line nearly every damn possession. We went 0 for 4 in the red zone. They had the ball in the red zone once and didn't score. He's telling you they blew the game. He's telling you it's not because of Bill Belichick that we lost this game. Now, listen, of course it's part of it. Bill Belichick's the greatest to ever do it. It's part of it. He's not saying that, though. He's saying it was more of us completely screwing this one up, left, right, up, down, and center, than it was Bill Belichick being an utter genius. And everybody today, Bill Belichick, genius. There's nothing genius about running the ball 70 times and throwing the ball 3 times. If you want to call him a genius for going and doing what they're good at, which is keeping the ball out of Mac Jones's hands, playing great defense, and running the ball, then sure, he's a genius. He's a genius. And that's the storyline today. Bill Belichick, mastermind, because he decided to run the ball. There was a point in time where they ran the ball, 40 times in a row? I got the stat right here. It's the most since 1999? Yeah, here it is. Most runs in a row in the NFL since 1999. Just under 30. Oh, and you want to know the other one? You want to know what the other one was? Colts against the Bills. Oh, what was that? 2 weeks ago. So is Frank Reich a genius too? Frank Reich, genius, right? Get out of here. Now, I'm not discrediting it. Bill Belichick knew what was going to work in that game, and he executed it to perfection. And then on the other side of the ball, they did the complete opposite. That was one of the worst coach games I have ever seen. I'm not in the hashtag fire Daboll camp like I've seen this morning, okay? I'm not there yet. But my good God, I don't know. How can I, a 24-year-old kid in the stands who doesn't know X's and O's from shit, how can I sit in those stands with the wind whipping against my face, freezing my ass off, and say to my dad and everybody else around me, who, by the way, everybody else in this stand felt the same damn thing. You're sitting there saying, how many times are you going to run the ball up the gut for 1 yard until you realize you can't keep doing it? Every single damn possession, one after another, run up the middle. This team cannot run the ball. Then the counter argument is, it's windy out. They can't throw the ball. Oh, but you just so happen to have a $250 million quarterback who might be the only human being on earth who can throw the ball in those conditions. And when he did, he was pretty damn good, wasn't he? And the reason his stats aren't better is because everybody and their mother had a drop in that game, including Dawson Knox, who might have single-handedly lost this game himself. It wasn't Josh Allen's fault. It wasn't the ability to not throw the ball. Why aren't they throwing it more? If Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots know what's good for them, and that's running the ball so much that Mac Jones literally could have been a deck chair out there, then why can't the Bills realize the only way they're going to win games is if Allen throws the ball and throws it almost every goddamn snap? They can't run it. And if they do run it, it's got to be run by Allen. And I've told you on here before, I'm not a fan of continuous drawn runs from Allen because I think it's going to get him hurt. But in this game, it has to happen. It has to happen because you have to run the ball in this game. You have to run the ball in this particular game because of the elements, the conditions, the fact that Belichick knows that they're going to want to throw the ball, the fact that they can't throw the ball deep because of the wind. They take that element away. You have got to be able to have some sort of respectable run game. And God knows you're not going to get it from the backs. And once again, Allen leads the team in rushing, despite the fact there was, one designed run, and it was up the gut. It was fucking terrible. The longest run he had was him deciding, screw it, I'm taking the ball. I'm taking it, and I'm off. 21 yards. Probably the best play of the game outside of the Diggs catch on the sideline. There should have been 5+ drawn runs for Allen in this game because they couldn't do anything else. I mean, look at this piss-poor stat line. Singletary, 3.6 yards per attempt. Zach Moss. Why is Zach Moss getting 8 carries? 8 for 21. I mean, put me in there. I'll do that. And then Matt Breida, he's only getting 1 carry. Matt Breida's only getting 1 carry. Really? What has Moss and Singletary done to deserve more than Matt Breida? Switch it up at least. I don't know. Something. But for God's sakes, you got the best athlete perhaps in sports taking the snaps, and you're not going to run him. You're not going to run him. I can't even deal with it, man. I can't even deal. I want to cry, man. I want to cry. Oh my God. I don't know where the hell Rico is. He's supposed to get in here and calm me down. I don't know if he messaged me, and I said he'll be on shortly. He's missing a show right now. You know, it's funny. I don't even feel sick anymore. I should have done this earlier. I feel way better. God almighty. Narham 1, 2, 3. I could have played QB for the Pats and still beat the Bills. And I'm not even being funny. You're not being funny. That's not funny. That's not funny. It's 100% truth. Who could not have done what Mac Jones did last night? And I'll give all the credit in the world to Mac Jones, because you want to know why? He's a perfect player for that environment. Do you think Cam Newton would be happy throwing the ball 3 times? No. Mac Jones will be. Why? Why? Because he's about the team. He's about winning. He's also coming from a guy in Nick Saban who is literally a carbon copy of Bill Belichick, but coaches in college. There's not a more perfect fit in the league than Mac Jones for the New England. And I hope you're ready for it. I hope you are ready for whatever the hell we just saw last night for the next 20 years, because that's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to be right there. That kid's going to do whatever he's told to do, never bitch about it, and it's going to work. It's worked the last 6 weeks. And look at him. Look at his stats. Okay, you threw the ball 3 times last night. You won. The last 6 games, he's got the highest completion percentage in the league. He's doing what he's asked to do, and he's doing it right, and they're winning 7 games in a row. I don't understand. I don't understand how that I don't get it. I don't get it. And you blink here, and how in the world is it back to how is it back to this? The playoffs, folks, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. I mean, let's be honest. You think they're going to beat Tampa Bay this weekend? Come on. I can't. I mean, I'd love to think they could, right? And sure, they could, because they're the most inconsistent team I've ever seen in my life. And as I told you last week, statistically, they are the most inconsistent team literally in the history of the sport. So yeah, they could go out and beat Tampa Bay by 100 the way things go. You're not going to hear me say that. No way in hell. And I love how the schedule lines up. The schedule lines up so we can lose to New England on prime time. And then we can go to Tampa against the guy who did that with New England against us for 20 years. And we can do that in the 4 o'clock window where, gets way more eyes than the 1 o'clock window. So we can do it then too, and then have whatever, and then have something bad happen there too. Oh, and then, how do you get thanked with that? Oh, you play New England again. There's a very realistic possibility that I will be on here with you 2 weeks from now. Okay. 2 weeks from now, this team will be 500. 500. Okay. I can't even believe it. I just can't even believe it. Oh my God. Oh my God. I just really want everybody to think about this. I really just want everybody to think about this. This team was in the AFC Championship last year. They went 13-3. And last night, they lost to a rookie quarterback who threw the ball 3 times. They lost to a team who threw the ball 3 times. I don't care what else happened in that game. The Knox drops, the Diggs drop. Everybody's giving Diggs crap. No one's catching that ball, okay? That ball, he's double covered. It was one of the most perfect balls I've ever seen, by the way. Amazing ball. Amazing ball. You know how hard of a catch that would have been? That ball is spinning in a million different ways because of the wind. His back's turned to it. He's facing the sideline. He's about to go out of bounds. He's got 2 guys on him. It's an impossible catch. I don't want to hear it. And then the terrible play calling, the terrible run execution, the terrible execution in the red zone. Outside of all of that, you lost to a team that ran the ball 3 times, or that threw the ball 3 times. You should be able to take a knee every play on offense and still win the game against a team who does that in 2021, where you literally have to score 30 plus in order to be competitive. Yes, I know, Mr. Bravo. The Diggs drop was single cover. He had another guy coming along the side, and even if it was single cover, even if he was wide open if you were there, and I remember just looking back up on the jumbotron, I couldn't even be mad. That was such a tough play. I don't know anybody who's catching that ball. If he caught that, I mean, it would have been absolutely amazing, next level amazing. But that play right there, what does that show you, by the way? Allen, that might have been the best throw of the year for Allen, despite it not being caught. And what does that show you? His best throw of the year, perhaps, was in a wind tunnel where I was told we shouldn't throw the ball in because the wind's too bad. Okay, so he just threw it in a trash can 50 yards in the back left corner of the end zone. You mean to tell me we can't keep throwing the ball? I mean, the plays Allen was making all night. I mean, the Dawson Knox drop, for instance, on the corner. Allen, I mean, it was absolutely gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. He's scrambling to the right side. He's avoiding pressure. He's about to run out of bounds off of his back foot, scrambling out of bounds, right side, throws it perfect. It's in Dawson Knox's chest. How do you not grab it? It was just so many little things. It was that. It was the Diggs play. It was Dawson Knox literally getting mauled in the end zone and on the final drive, no call. It was McDermott deciding to not go for two. You knew that was going to wind up being a factor. I mean, how do you not go for two? Even, just watching this team for so long, you knew that was gonna play into it. And then the terrible challenge. You're not winning that challenge, coach. You're never winning that challenge. How many times have you seen a coach challenge a spot in the field and win? You don't see it. You don't. I knew the second that red flag hit his hand and threw out into the field that was a complete waste of a challenge and a timeout. And then the Bills get down into the red zone again. Oh, They waited for the play clock to run out before calling the timeout. Why? There's like 8 minutes left. What are you doing? And then, well, would it have mattered? I don't know, probably not. But at the end of the game, I wouldn't have minded having two more. I wouldn't have minded having two more timeouts. Jared Faraci coming in with a super chat. How many years in a row has one team from the previous season's Final Four teams missed the playoffs the next year? Bills might be that team. Not exactly sure, Jared. I know for a fact the Falcons, after they made the Super Bowl, I believe they missed the playoffs the following year. I don't know that statistic offhand, but yeah, I mean, Jared, it's 100% a possibility. It is 100% a possibility. And then the decision to kick the field goal, your hands are tied there because what was it? 4th and goal from the 15. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. The problem is, even if they did make the field goal, everybody's like, oh, okay, well, you get all the way down the field and you can win the game again on a field goal. Well, could they have? Oh, Mike's coming in. Mike's correcting me. Mike said Falcons lost divisional round after making the Super Bowl. Thank you, Mike. But the Falcons, it was a few years right after that, right, where they didn't make the playoffs. I don't know. Whatever. Who the hell cares? And then the decision to kick the field goal. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I didn't hate it because what are you going to do? If it's 4th and 15, you couldn't score from the 6. You think you're going to score from the 15? So you might as well take the field goal opportunity. And the problem is, though, even if you made it, you're going to make another one down there to win the game. Everybody's writing the Bills off as a W had they have made that field goal. Well, you would have had to have done it again. And I don't know how likely that is in that win down there. I mean, you saw the pregame kicks. They were dying in the middle of the air. Oh my God. Just so much. And I just think the fact that you lose that game the way you did with all of that, how do you have 11 days? How do you have 11 days to prepare? Knowing this is the biggest game of the year, and that's what you put out on the field. And I'd love to sit next to Brian Dable in the coach's booth when he decides that running the ball up the middle again is the right call. Where's the creativity? There's none. Why is Isaiah McKenzie benched? He's the only guy out there that you could probably have running some sort of jet sweep motion, some sort of trickery around the outside, something to give a spark in the run game. Why is he on the bench? There was nothing. And then even at the simplest of ways, you couldn't have found a way to just get Allen to run the ball. You couldn't have done that. You did it like 10 times against the Saints in a dome. You're not going to do it once in a blizzard? That didn't make any sense. And I think in a game like this, you have a quarterback who might be one of, if not the only quarterback who would be capable of playing a normal style game through the air in those conditions. Why not utilize it? It doesn't have to be anything crazy. As you notice, as the game went on and they started to throw the ball more, it was almost all intermediate, and it was very well executed. Almost everything was intermediate, and it was very well executed. It doesn't need to be this amazing deep down the field play calling in the pass game. If you don't have a run game, why can't your run game be supplemented with short throws? Because you're much more likely to get the ball down the field that way than you are to run the ball with this team. It's just inevitable. It's just inevitable. And yeah, of course, no losses, only learning 91-94 coming in. The win was a factor on some throws. Absolutely. I mean, the win was a factor on the final throw of the game. That ball died in the middle of the air. I mean, it looked like Allen threw it with a broken arm. It was nowhere near where he was trying to go. It died. But that was because he had to put it in a certain spot. And that's because it was going into the wind and he had to get it a certain distance. I think the rest of the game, you could have easily have drawn stuff up to tic-tac-toe your way down the field because they were doing it later on in the game. I mean, for Christ's sake, they got to the red zone 4 times, and this is just beating a dead horse at this point. It's just beating a dead horse at this point. They can't score in the red zone. I don't know what the hell it is. There's no creativity. I mean, the one drive where they get down to the 6, right? You get down to the 6. They had passed almost exclusively that whole drive. They had their best run of the game on that drive. But prior to that, they passed the ball almost exclusively. The first play call of that drive, of that red zone trip, was a run to the right side. Right side. And it was the only carry Zach Moss had all day. Or not Zach Moss, excuse me. I'm looking at the wrong stats. But it was a carry for Zach Moss. It was a carry to Zach Moss, and everybody's saying, oh, if he bumped it outside, he would have had. No, he wouldn't have. The only reason it looked wide open on the right side is because he cut it inside, and everybody went that way. If he would have went outside, they would have followed him. But you threw the ball the whole way down there, and you're essentially, when you do that with this team, when you run the ball on first down, when you run the ball on your first play in the red zone, you are essentially just giving up a play. What the Bills running the ball up the middle is the equivalent of spiking the ball on first down. It truly is, especially in the red zone. The Bills are not scoring from the 6 on a run play. So don't even bother. And the fact that they had 4 opportunities in the red zone, and the only one that they score on is on a muffed punt. That's another thing lost here. The only reason the Bills got in the end zone in this game is a muffed punt that literally hit the helmet of the Patriot player by the length of an eyelash. What a joke. And those red zone trips, mind you, those 4 red zone trips, that's not including Matt Breida just flat out dropping a handoff, by the way. I mean, is this not professional sports? How can you just drop a handoff like that? I mean, there was no one near him. He just dropped it. He didn't even put his. Everybody knows the technique. Everybody knows the technique. One hand over the other, grab the ball. His arms were squished together. I don't even know, man. Oh, God. Let me catch my breath. Here's a quick word from NordVPN.
Are you out of market, but the NFL Sunday ticket is just too expensive? Hey, this is Pierre the Kingpin from the Buffalo Fanatics, and do we have a deal for you? Watching all NFL games live while having the ability to watch the replay whenever you'd like is what makes the NFL Sunday ticket so popular. The issue is the pricing is just outrageous. Getting DAZN along with NordVPN will cut that price in half. Here are the details. Go to supportbf.com and sign up for DAZN. Then go back and sign up for NordVPN. Once done, just switch your VPN to Canada, then sign into DAZN. Now sit back and enjoy some football. It's the Kingpin, and I'm out.
NordVPN, get over there, the bfvpn.com. Take advantage of it. KT Robinson, stop complaining. 7 wins, 5 losses. It is okay. Even respectable. All right, KT, if you want to be respectable, then hey, the Bills are respectable. I hope you enjoy respectable football. I sure as hell don't. There's a lot to complain about. I'm sorry. I'm going to complain for sure. You watched that game last night? If there's one opportunity that you have to complain, it is against a Patriots team that threw the ball 3 times and you lose. If you can't complain then when can you? I mean, KT, and like I say this every week when somebody comes in with a comment like yours,
Zach Moss.
Rico's in the back end. He's firing me up. He's putting up some. I don't know what he's doing. He's trying to get me more fired up. No, but what I was saying is, KT, I envy the hell out of you. If I could leave that game going, 7-5, that ain't too bad. Whatever. It's just the Patriots. We'll get them next time. I'm jealous of you, man. I'm jealous of that mindset. Because what did I do when I left that game? I said, I'm never coming here ever again. That's what I said. I said, I'm never coming back here ever again. Oh, my God. Oh.
Zach Moss.
Rico, you coming? There we go. Okay.
Yo, you're losing your mind right now.
Oh, yeah.
Itchy's getting on your ass right now, boy.
Oh, yeah.
First of all, you were at the game.
Oh,
So you didn't have the luxury of us watching what we watched. You didn't have the luxury of seeing 222 yards get rammed down your throat. You know what I'm saying? But
it must have been amazing to watch. I'm jealous of you.
But here's the deal. It was bend but don't break. 14 points allowed. This is where your offense is supposed to come in and put up some points. If not for a grazed helmet punt return, they blanket us. We don't score. We don't get in the end zone. Like I don't think Bills fans realize that.
No, they don't. I listen. You didn't have the luxury of freezing your ass off last night. I was telling them earlier, and I thanked you before the game. Not only did Rico stay my ass last night because of the internet connection, I didn't get a chance to tell you that. I'm on my way home. I go to my dad. I go, man, I don't feel good. I'm up all night, front and back, all night.
No.
Oh yeah. So not only
this loss really got to you.
I told him, I go, there's not a sickness in the world that could top whatever I saw last night, and I was pretty damn sick all day long.
I gotta say this.
Go ahead.
This game is still. It's got Bills Twitter, Bills Facebook, Bills Instagram, Bills everything. Any social media that Bills fans are on, lit up. I don't know what you found so far.
Not lit enough. I haven't seen enough. I haven't seen it, and I want to get your thoughts on this because this is where I really got fired up earlier.
Talk to me.
You want to know what I love about this? Let's not talk about everything the Bills did wrong in this game, which was essentially everything. Let's not talk about the fact that they lose to a team that threw the ball 3 times. And I'm going to say that probably 5,000 more times this show because I cannot say it enough. Okay, that happened. Okay, that should not happen in the history of life, Rico, and it did. On the biggest stage, okay, whatever. But that's not what we're talking about on Tuesday. What are we talking about, Rico? We're talking about good old Jerry Sullivan, right? Because that's what we should be upset with. Jerry Sullivan. And
How do you feel about Jerry Sullivan? How do you feel about that?
So that's what I said. I said he didn't ask the question the right way. He didn't ask the question the right way. He said it and he said it in the wrong manner. He said it very, very arrogantly. I think he knew what he was doing. And I also don't think he should have asked it to Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde. But I absolutely, the basis of the question, Rico, I loved it. Because he was the only one in that room who had the stones to flat out ask what everybody else was feeling. And that is, are you guys embarrassed? Because that answer should be yes, period.
A resounding yes. And let me tell you something. I have absolutely no issue with the way Jerry asked the question, how he asked the question, the tone behind the question. A question is a question. Answer it.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Give me some respect. Well, you know what? You got disrespected on the field. How about that? Earn your respect 100%. On the field, my man. Y'all got trashed on the field. Now, we still love our Bills. We absolutely do. You know what I'm saying? But a question is a question. Answer it.
Yep.
Or you say, hey, Jerry, you know what? I'm not right now. No comment. You saw what was on the field. No comment. And I'm going to let y'all write what y'all want to write. That's right. Isn't that what it is typically?
Yep.
But here's the deal. What my man failed to do was say, you know what? I'm going to deflect from your question. But he's like, oh, well, what do we like 7 points? 14 points?
I know.
We only lost 14 points?
You lost.
Hold on a second. We only allowed 14 points? Who do you think he's talking to? He's talking to the offense. We did our job. We held them to 14 points. And then y'all can write. I want the writers to write what they're supposed to write. Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde really, it sucks because they're the ones answering for the rest of where the guys are. Now, who said it? I don't know if it was Jerry Sullivan that said it. He says, they're relegated to asking questions in the press room, right?
They can't go in the locker room. Yeah, he said it on Twitter.
They can't go in the locker room where they can pull a guy aside and say, yo, fam, like, are you embarrassed? Like, what's going on? Put the little radio in his face, and that's between him and reporter. Then he can go in and write it. But now everything is viewed for everyone, so it looks bad. You feel me?
Yeah.
So guess what? Jerry's been doing this for years. What, he's just some bum that just woke up and said, I want to be a writer. I want to go. No, he's been doing this he knows the game. He's a vet. He's been doing it.
Yep.
So he got a rise out of the players. So be it. You know what I'm saying? You want to not get asked those questions? Win.
You know what I don't get about it? You know what I don't get about it? Because I think the reason if you listen to the way he asked it, you could just tell.
He just said, are you embarrassed? Are you guys embarrassed?
Think about it like this. Okay, so you're Jordan Poyer, right? And I'm Jerry Sullivan.
Right.
If I go, Jordan, Micah, they threw 3 passes all game. Hasn't happened since 1974. Biggest game of the year, Monday night. You haven't won a game at home on Monday night since 74. What's the feeling in the locker room? Are you guys embarrassed? If he asked it like that, as opposed to the way he ran it off, I get why it initially triggered them. That's why I think he asked it the wrong way. Now, from a reporter standpoint, he did it the right way, because guess what he got? Exactly what he wanted. He got his own segment on Colin Cowherd this morning. He's got everybody talking about him. There's not a thing he would have changed, and I can't blame him. Now, listen, I understand nobody dislikes Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. I think they're the 2 most likable guys in that locker room.
Not at all. So respectable.
No question. You hit the nail on the head. You're going to respond to that? You're going to respond to ask if you're being embarrassed by listing me off stats? I don't care what you did in that game. I don't care what you did. You lost, and you lost to a team that threw the ball 3 times. And that's the problem with this fan base as a collective whole. Everybody's always trying to find a way to pat somebody on the back after a loss like that. And so when Jerry Sullivan calls them out, it's a riot against Jerry Sullivan, because they asked a question that nobody else would have asked. It's a riot. Why? That's a fair question. In this day and age, it's all softballs. What are you going to do against Tampa to change things? No. They are who they are. And in this moment in time, that's a fair ass question, Rico.
Are we going to sit here? Like, aren't you guys sick and tired of Coach McDermott giving the freaking PC answer all the time? We just got to get back to fundamentals. It sickens you all. We finally got a real answer from, what we can call a real answer, but a reaction. A reaction. Now, here's what I found out. The only reason that you will see Jordan, it's always the same people, right? Jordan Poyer, Stephon Diggs, Micah Hyde, Josh Allen, right? Those are the usually the people that you see sitting at the table. Apparently, it's only captains that get to go and answer. So you got Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde answering for the deficiencies of everybody else, right? Why the hell's the offense not blah, 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 blah? Well, get Darrell Williams out there. Get Spencer Brown out there. Hey, what happened, man? Matt Judon. Tell us what happened with Matt Judon. Let's get the answers from these cats. Micah Hyde can't answer for that. That's just what it is. Mitch Morse. Get Mitch Morse out there. These are the little things I'm feeling. You know what I'm saying? Now, tough loss. We got exposed once again. And the worst thing is we got exposed by them only passing 3 passes. It was a play action to Jonnu Smith. That was way too high, but Jonnu Smith became an athlete and brought it down and pulled an Odell Beckham and brought that down. There was a screen pass, and then there was an incomplete pass. Here's the crazy part. We're going to face this team again, and we have to re-game plan because we didn't see any of their pass plays. So they can go in with a fresh new, you know what I'm saying? And we sitting here bullshitting because we couldn't stop that. They ran 3 fucking plays. Excuse my language. We're on the smoke break. So I got to go
earlier too. No, I did earlier. I swear to God, I never do.
They ran 3 plays all game long. And I think they ran a trap play. And Baldinger said it best. My man, it went from right side to left side. Right side to left side. It was just embarrassing. Even former Bills linebacker Brandon Spikes was like, Baldinger, what's happening? What's going on? And you know what Baldinger said? On skates. Linebackers were on skates. Yo. And then you have content creators out there trying to make all the excuses in the world as to what players were good and this, that, and the third. Fam, we did not play well enough. Teams see this, and they're going to run it down our throats. Jonathan Taylor had his fun. Derrick Henry had his fun. Ramondre Stevenson and Damon Harris had their fun. And guess who we have next? Can you tell me who we have next?
Fournette, a.k.a. what are they calling him now? The
Playoff Lenny.
Yeah, no, but his new thing now. He's 4 Tutty Lenny or some shit.
4 Tutty Lenny. Laugh when he gets hit Lenny. You name it. So we got another guy that's going to fucking run it down our throats. Are we prepared for that?
I'm glad you're bringing this up because you want to know what the biggest thing I see on Twitter all the time now? All of a sudden, after 3 losses here, these 3 specific losses. Well, if you take away the one big run, this Bills defense. Shut up. I can't. It happened, right? It happened. And if you take away in the Patriots game, you take away in the New England game, you take away in the Colts game. No, it happened. And they're due for it, what? Once a game now, it seems. If you're playing a team that can run the ball, they're going to pop one off. And everybody keeps saying how the defense, like even Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde, they're saying, 14 points a day. That wasn't the only big run they allowed all game. There were multiple runs that got popped off for 15 plus. And I understand, from a Bills fan's perspective, that we don't see that ever, literally ever. But when you have a team that's capable of running the ball, that's all you really need. And the main difference in this game was the fact that New England got that final field goal to put the game within the outstretch of the Bills not being able to kick a field goal. And the reason they got down there was because they ran the ball nonstop, and that's what got them down there. So it wasn't a good defensive performance at all. It wasn't.
Hear me out. I'm not going to sit here and say that we lost this game because of the defense.
I'm not either.
We didn't. The defense did their job. If I told you, Zach, I say, hey, before you even know the results of the game, I say, yo, this defense is going to only allow 14 points. Would you take it? You'd be like, yes, I'll take it. The defense held the opponents of 14 points. I'll take it. So guess what? They did their job. Offense, you have one of the best offenses in the game. You have one of the most elite quarterbacks in the game. You have one of the elite receivers in the game. Put some points on the board. You're in the red zone how many times? Not once, not twice, not 3 times. Yo, where's that meme with my man Tom Brady holding the 4 up?
Oh, LeBron. Oh, yeah.
I thought it was
Tommy?
that 4 chances. 4 chances. They shanked a punt in the first quarter, which gave them great field position. Not only that, they shanked
Twice.
another punt. 15-yard punt, which put you at the 30. Like, they were giving you guys opportunities. So I don't want to hear anything about, I mean, yes, the defense allowed 222 yards. So be it. They held the team to 14 points. Offense, it's on you. Now, I have a theory.
Let's hear it.
Go ahead. Keep going. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to kind of circle back and say I'm not saying the game was on the defense. Certainly not. I'll take 14
I hope you're
points
not.
all day. What I'm saying is I don't want to constantly be peppered with, if they didn't allow the one run, they did. And they also allowed over 220 yards on the ground. The reason it only wound up being 14 points is because of the conditions and the elements and the fact that they didn't throw the ball at all. You're not going to score. That's the maximum amount of points you're ever going to score without throwing the ball, sincerely. I'm just saying it wasn't on the defense, but to say that they had an overwhelmingly great day, I wouldn't say that either. And I don't think that they're immune to criticism in this game. That's my point.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. By the way, Jason Millard, Rigo got on me last night for making that one big run comment. You just nailed it, Zach. This whole, even coach in the press conference, he says, well, if not for that 64-yard run, we held the team down to 3-point blah, 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 blah. Guess what? If not for that punt that knocked N'Keal Harry grazed his face, you don't score any points on offense. So we can't take away things like that. That's some bullshit.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Now, let me hear this theory.
All right. Here's the deal. We all know, all Bills fans know that we're a pass-first team. Brian Daboll is the air raid master, right? I mean, he's got 4 wide, 3 wide, doesn't matter. He's gonna throw the rock at all times. It started last year when we had Josh go for 35 plus 100 yards, yada 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 yada, right? But we can't run the football. Mm-hmm. We haven't been able to run the football. McDermott is a defensive guy. Any defensive coach that I know, if they play hard-nosed defense, you better be able to run the ball. Yep. There's no like hard-nosed defense and you're airing the ball out. It's hard-nosed defense and you run the ball. And we haven't been able to run the ball. So here's my deal. I think there's a rift between Daboll and McDermott. Hear me out. I think Daboll's like, I know what we have on this offense. This offensive line is junk. And the only way for me to move the rock and move is by putting the ball in Josh Allen's hands and airing it out. It's better. It's more effective. I'll do a receiver screen. I'll do X, Y, Z, but I will get the ball in the air. McDermott's probably like, damn all that. Run the football. All right, you want me to run the football? Here you go. Up the gut, up the gut, up the gut, up the gut. I don't know if it's like some kind of spiteful, you want me to run the ball? Here's running the ball. Up the gut we go.
Oh, you think it's self-sabotage on the part of Daboll?
Easy now. It just feels that way. But I'm not saying that he's self-sabotaging, but it feels like there's some kind of power shift because we weren't always trying to run the ball. And all of a sudden we're trying to establish ourselves like we're kind of run dominant team. And we ran the same freaking plays all day long. Like, it doesn't make sense. I'm only speculating at this point. Something doesn't seem right because we've officially switched philosophies. Like now we're just, I mean, I get it. There was a lot of wind and there was rain and it was ugly, but we threw the ball 30 times still.
Yep.
30 times. So I don't want to hear that, you know what I'm saying? Like this was just bizarre. I'm just pay attention.
Very bizarre.
Pay attention. That's all I'm saying.
I said earlier in the show, I want to be a fly on the wall for when Daboll then yet again says, all right, run the halfback dive again. Like, is there anybody in the room who just wants to tap him on the shoulder and say, hey, Bri, if it didn't work the first 25 times, I don't think it's going to work the 26.
Hey, Bri. Well,
you know what I'm saying?
But
is there anybody in there with quality control on this BS? I don't understand.
This is why I think that does McDermott have a pulse on this? He's the head coach. It says his final say, run the rock. But coach, I want to throw it. Run it.
But okay. I guess that would essentially be calling McDermott flat out stupid then, right? I mean, you'd have to be stupid to think that that's going to work after doing it that many times and having it not work.
Well, somebody's got to take the blame because offensively, we're just not as effective as we were last year. Now, have people figured us out? Has it come down to that? It's fair to say.
I think that, wow. I mean, figured out, I don't know, because you could say the same thing about a lot of teams this year, because the offense has been not nearly what it was a season ago. That's for sure. But I just think the lack of execution, the play calling, and the inability to score in the red zone, that really is the real Achilles heel here. I mean, this is happening nearly every game, unless they're playing an absolute dumpster fire. We got our boy Jeff up here.
I got to put Jeff up here. Jeff says it was complete coaching and player failure. So call it for what it is. Stop pinpointing players. You all failed to come to grips on this. They threw 3 passes and beat us in our house. Hello, we play to win. I get it. I get what Jeff is saying. It's tough because you have home field advantage. The elements are in your favor, if you will. And we flat out, Bill Belichick came in and embarrassed. He embarrassed it. Amongst coaches talking to coaches, coaches are talking like, yo, you see what McDermott did? You see what Bill Belichick did to McDermott? Like, we got to buck up, guys, because McDermott's coming. I mean, Belichick is coming. Who knows? And Belichick, you can see he was more fiery on the sideline than I've ever seen him.
He smiled too post game. You see that?
No, I did not.
It's kind of like Groundhog Day. If Belichick smiles, there's like X amount more days of winter, I think, or something like that. But seriously, I mean, would you not be the happiest man in the world if you just won a game where you ran the ball 475 times and didn't even have to throw it? I mean, that I left there and I said to my dad, I said, I don't know why they're not the Super Bowl favorites right now. If you can win a game doing that, you can do anything. I mean, literally anything. Because I've never seen anything like that in my life. And if you can win a game like that against a really good Bills defense and against an offense like that, they're essentially telling you our defense is so good and our offense is efficient enough to score enough. I mean, honestly, I don't know why they wouldn't be the favorites right now, in all sincerity. I mean, they're doing everything right.
They are. Hey, you play Madden? You ever played Madden in your lifetime?
Of course.
Okay. You ever play somebody that just found a play? It's like the day before he spent hours in the practice mode, found that one run play.
Can't beat it. Yeah, I know.
Found one run play and was like unstoppable.
Sure.
I remember I found a play that was unstoppable. Right. So this is what Belichick did. He's like, you know what? They're not going to be able to stop this thing. I know who's on that defense. I know what they're about. We're going to run this play and we're not going to stop. And McDermott is trying to pull the stops out. For crying out loud, we were running a 4-3 defense. We had 3 linebackers out there and we still couldn't do a damn thing. Couldn't stop. They moved the chains.
That's the amazing thing. Like, when you know it's coming too. And in the beginning, it was so weird because in the beginning, you didn't know that was going to be the game plan until, of course, you were in the third quarter and they had only thrown the ball once. But in the beginning, I was like, man, this is wild. They're doing the same exact play ever. And it felt like they were trying to set something up, but they never set anything up. It was just the game plan. That was the craziest part of it.
That was it.
You kept waiting for something, and there never was anything.
I mean, after the first quarter, I think the jig was up. They're going to run the ball, and they're not going to stop. So you think that we set it up. There was only one instant, one series where it looked like Milano just had enough. I mean, you were watching. I know
exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, I know.
You had enough.
Yes.
2 plays in a row in the backfield. Get him off the field. Let's go.
Yep.
And here we are.
And then you wonder, where the hell was that? Where was that, right? That's when you wonder. When you see that, you're like, what the hell?
Let me ask you this. You were at the game.
Yeah.
Right? You're around Pats fans, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
But you're surrounded by Bills fans. What was the mood like when we score? I'm going to ask you 2 moods. What was the mood that when we scored? Where you're like, okay, we're back. We got this. What was the mood?
I got to be honest with you. There wasn't really any moment in that game other than the sequence of the muff punt and then the Davis touchdown. No one ever really, there was no excitement really. Maybe when Allen busted off that 21-yard run.
That was nice.
Yeah, it was nice.
I held my breath a little bit.
I know. And that's a whole other argument we could have about the fact that they didn't run anything with him. I mean,
are we talking about the run game?
We're talking about Josh Allen literally not getting any design runs at all. And whatever. The mood, the mood in that stadium, it's funny. Every time you lose, when you walk into the stadium, it's like you don't see any opposing fans. But when you lose, it's like that's all you see. They all of a sudden come out of nowhere. Yeah. And I was saying earlier, it's amazing how all these fans are still stuck in the glory days. Every jersey, from at least what I could see, I saw some people in here said differently, but at least from my perspective, all I saw was Gronk and Brady jerseys just everywhere. And when we left, I mean, how could they not be ecstatic? How could they not be? And the mood for us, I'll tell you what, it was packed. You couldn't move in there. And I told everybody here when I first started the show, the environment, like right around when T.O. was coming out to lead the charge, it was one of the coolest I've ever been a part of, because you could just feel the enormity of that moment in that game. And the fact that that game went down the way it did, that's why I felt so embarrassed leaving there, because of the amount of excitement. And it was just so palpable in the beginning. And there really wasn't another moment throughout the game other than a fluke muff punt where anybody really ever matched that excitement again.
Isn't it? And Bills fans are so great for showing up, but boy, are we salty when we lose.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we are salty. We make all the excuses in the world, and we always absolve blame to Josh Allen. Why is it that Josh Allen doesn't get grouped into our offensive woes?
It's weird, isn't it? Isn't it weird?
It actually sickens me.
It's like cult-like. I don't get it.
It sickens me. We can blame everybody on the offense. Darrell Williams, Zach Moss, Devin Singletary, Dable, everyone. But Josh Allen, remove Josh Allen from the equation. Why? He's part of the offense. He touches the ball every play. So why is he not part of the blame? You can't. And I'm not saying he is to blame, but he is part of the blame. The whole offense is part of the blame. Now, I just totally switched up on the narrative of what we were talking about, but my goodness, it's just like we're talking about the fans and how they act and how salty they become. And that's part of it, because they absolve Josh Allen from it. Like he can't do any wrong.
I see what you're saying. Like last night, like what you're saying is in moments when it is Allen's fault, he still doesn't get the blame. Last night was not one of them. I was saying earlier, I don't think this game, I don't even know if you score a point really without Allen in this game. That's just the way things were going.
Allen is elite. Allen played.
No doubt.
He is the reason that we are where we are right now. There's no question about it.
We've also anointed him as the second coming of Christ based on last season, and that's why he'll never get a lick of criticism ever. And
if you come for him.
But I'm not saying this is ever going to happen, and I'm not even making the comparison. I'm just saying it's funny how quickly things change, and if they ever did change, this is what it would be like. As soon as Baker Mayfield was drafted in Cleveland, he was the Lord and Savior. Now every single person in Cleveland wants Baker out of town. So I'm just saying, like, things change very quickly. And that's the one thing you hope never happens in Buffalo. And I'm not saying it's even close to that, but I'm just saying it's always one end or the other. It's either everybody's obsessed with the person and they can never do any wrong, and then all of a sudden that switches to everything is on them. You know what I mean? There's never any middle ground when it comes to, but I guess that's why you call it fandom, right? Because there's no rationality in it.
There is no rationality. And the thing is, listen, Allen was not flawless. He missed some throws yesterday. He missed some guys that were wide open. But it's going to happen because he also saved their asses multiple times.
Yep.
Right. So that's just what it's going to be. Here's my question for you, Z-Bob.
Yeah.
By the way, shout out to you, by the way. You're a freaking celebrity. Boston Globe.
Oh, that was fire. Pierre hooked that up. How about that?
Boston Globe, my man, is
in my quote they used. Was it not just the most spot on thing ever?
Bang on.
I said there's always that looming fear, and it was there last night. And sure enough, It was.
You didn't feel good. You didn't feel good about the Colts game, and something tells me you didn't feel good about this Patriots game coming up.
I mean, I told you I felt. Oh, the next one, you mean?
Yes.
Or like last night's or the one
last night? I'm talking about last night's game. Did you feel good about that game?
I think you felt a little bit worse about it than I did. I felt better about this one than I did the Colts game, because the Colts game to me just felt like it. I don't know what it was, but it just felt like an automatic loss. I don't know why. There was no reason for me to feel that way. Last night, I felt like, you know what? It's Monday night. It's so big. The Patriots, over their 6-game winning streak, they've beaten some slouches, and I wonder if they're going to be ready for whatever the Bills are able to bring to them. They're going to be inspired. They put together a pretty good performance in a big spot last week. I felt better about it, and I genuinely felt that the Bills were going to split the series with New England. And if that was going to happen, the one way the Bills were going to wind up splitting it was going to be getting the win last night. Now I don't even.
You did
I
say
don't
that.
know. Yeah.
Now you don't know. Now you're like,
now I know. How could I? If you're going to lose that way, I don't know how you could. How could you have any confidence at all? Are you confident about this Sunday? Be honest. Like, come on.
No, I'm not.
No way.
I'm not. Let's be real. And if you're real, and this has nothing to do with have some pride in your team.
Oh,
that has nothing to do with
I
that.
hate it. I hate it.
Don't give me that crap. And if you're gonna bring that crap, take that crap somewhere else. I love the team just as much as you do, but we can be fucking real and say there's pause to be concerned.
Why is that not allowed, by the way? I don't understand that. It's like if you have kids and your kid went to school and beat the hell out of another kid, you're going to bring them home and not discipline them? You're not going to teach them wrong from right? Like if you love something, it doesn't mean you can't criticize it. I don't get that. And if you do criticize it, your fan card's revoked. You hate this team. I don't get it. It's the worst. I would argue you love the team more because you criticize them.
Get him, Z-Bot.
I just don't get it. If you got a kid, and here's another thing. I'm a huge Dave Matthews fan. You guys all know this. I go to like 50 Dave Matthews concerts a year.
Give me a line from Dave Matthews' song. That one of the best songs.
I was going to say that it's weird. Like the fan bases, even between sports and music, there will be nights where Dave will have a set and it's just not good. It's mailed in. It's all the hits, whatever. And somebody will go on Facebook and say, I didn't really dig that show. There will be 75 to 100 people in the comments. You should just be lucky this band's even still playing. We are so lucky to have them. Oh, my God. Any show's a great show. He could go out there and hum for an hour and it would be good. And I'm like, no, the show sucked. I've been to good shows. I've been to bad shows. That was a bad show. And you are out of your mind. And it's like on Monday night, I've been to Bills games where they beat Houston 40-0. I was at last night. There's a difference. There is a difference.
Yo, you absolutely nailed that. I'll tell you right now. Because there are
people can't realize that. There's a difference, right? There's a difference between Monday night last night and like the game you'd play against the Jets a couple weeks ago. There is a difference.
There is a difference, and I won't be as passionate as you are on this, but there are the fans that will sit there, and fans have been watching this team for years, right? And there's some viewers right now that have been watching the team for over 30, over 40 years, and they'll say, "Hey, man, we had it worse back then. It's not as bad like it is right now."
Yeah,
I respect that, but I wasn't with you back then. All I know is the 20 years of getting beat down by the Patriots. Now we have some success.
Yeah.
You feel me? And we're falling apart at the seams right now. Like, think about it right now. Ziba, check this out. We are 7-5 right now.
Yeah.
The Miami Dolphins are 6-7.
I know.
They have a very favorable rest of the freaking season to play some teams that are Tua's actually starting to come together and put some things together. If we keep messing around, Dolphins could leap us. If we don't buckle up, we need to buckle up. This is. I'm not saying that I'm panicking, but this is where it's like, hey guys, we got to get it together because the gauntlet continues. We play the Bucs, and the Bucs are not a joke. The Bucs are not a joke, man.
I just want you to think about everybody. I want everybody to think about what you just said because it's a reality that 3 months ago, you would have been laughed out of a building for even mentioning. Like 3 months ago, think about how much things would have been different. You would never have thought Miami would have even had a chance. The Bills 3 months ago, if you were to set the spread of this game last night 3 months ago, the Bills would have been probably 11, 12-point favorites, right? And you would have thought the Bills would have just ran house. It's amazing how quickly things change. And even in the beginning of this season, when the Patriots got off to a slow start, it was just inevitable, right? We had locked it in. It's done. The Patriots are no longer the Patriots, and the East is the Bills for the foreseeable future. And now, I mean, this is the sad thing. You finally get all the pieces and elements that you think you'll need to go the distance, and now it's not even the distance anymore. It's back to base one where you can't even leap the Pats in the division. That's the saddest thing, man.
The AFC is stacked. And when I say stacked, I'm not talking about we got really amazing teams. Where it's congested.
Yeah.
We're now in the hunt. We're in the hunt right now. Somewhat. We're kind of like amongst the Pittsburgh Steelers and so on. And here's the kicker. We, conference-wise, I believe, are 5-4. 5-5, actually. We've lost 5 conference games. We didn't lose to the NFC. No, we lost all our games. The five games that we've lost all in AFC. So if we are battling to get into the playoffs, that is going to be a detriment to us getting in because we can't even beat the teams in our own damn conference. Golly, this is something else, man.
You know what? I did this last week, but Rigo, it's just I think we should just do it. Let's go one round and let's do our honest, like where we think this is what's going to happen through this playoff simulator here. I want to do one round. I want to do one round where we legitimately think the Bills will wind up because I think everybody's perspective's changing. I did this last week and I said that this is what I think now, and my perspective on this could change completely by the end of Monday. And my perspective on this team, and it's funny, I think I was there with this a bit earlier than I felt like everybody else was willing to get to. But I think everybody now in the majority of the mass media or whatever, or at least the mass consensus,
right,
is the Bills they're just very mediocre. And with that said, I mean, I'm wondering, like, if we look at it here right now, they're barely in. They're the last one in, right?
Oh boy.
And I like the chances against the Derrick Henry-less Tennessee team, but even so, they still run the ball well. Like even when they got roughed up by New England, they still ran the ball for like 200 plus yards, way more than the Bills could do. But I mean, if we're going into next week, Rico, like you and me both think the Bills are losing this game, right?
I don't feel good about it. We just lost to a team that ran the ball 46 times. Now we're about to play a team that's going to throw it up 45 times.
Yeah. So
and without Trey White, I don't feel good.
I don't feel good either. Stop me if you see anything you don't like here. But I'm just going through and basically picking who I off the top of my head, who I think would be the better team. And because I was seeing so much stuff today, Rico, like, here's how the Bills can still win the division. And I'm like, really?
The Chargers.
That's where you're at? That's where you're at?
Yeah, give me the Bengals.
Okay. Packers.
Yeah.
Probably the Cardinals. They beat the crap out of it.
Cardinals are looking good right now, so I'll give you the Cardinals.
And we'll go week 15. All right. So if the Bills can't beat the Panthers and whatever, this is pointless. We shouldn't even do this anyways.
The Bills are beating the Panthers. We're beating the
Bills. Now, this game right here, Rico, huge.
Give me the Colts.
So you really think so?
I like the Colts over New England. I just that run game is nice.
Because that would be huge for Buffalo.
Huge. It will be huge for Buffalo. And here's the reason I'm doing it. Not because I'm salty, because this not third. The Titans with no ones ran for over 200 yards on that team in decent weather. Patriots are going to the Colts. Mm-hmm. Okay, so they're at the Colts. Jonathan Taylor is seething to go up against a defense like that. I think he does well. I think the Colts take that game.
Tennessee or Pittsburgh here?
Give me Tennessee.
Yep, I agree with you. Okay. Ooh, right. This is a big one right here.
Give me Green Bay. No.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Green Bay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So now we're getting into the thick of things here. So now it comes. So do you think the Bills get it back? Do they beat them in Foxborough?
In Foxborough? Oh, that's a tough one, man. You know what? For the sake of when it comes down to coaching, Belichick is the superior coach. I'm going to give it based on coaching. I'm giving it to the Pats. Yep. Based on coaching.
Right now, I got no confidence. And I also want to do a simulator where it makes it really tough for the Bills. I want to see like what needs to happen, right? Because I just got a feeling it's going to come down to this, where we're going to have to start playing with this thing like it's a science project to see how the hell the Bills are going to get in. Yep. I just can't believe it. I used to do this when I was 12 and I hated my life, Rico. How the hell can the Bills get in? I had to do like calculations like I was Isaac.
You got to play it like it is.
And I thought that those days were done. I really did. And I mean, look at this. I mean, here we are. Why do I even have this up? You know, I mean, this is why. This is just unbelievable to me.
I'm telling you, you got to do it.
I can't believe this is reality right now. I swear to God.
But this is the things that we have to talk about, because when you lose to teams that you're not supposed to lose to, this is what you're forced to. Now you're needing this team to win. Now you need that team to lose.
Yeah.
You got to control your own destiny, man.
Is it me, or is this game look way tougher now than it did earlier? Like, Atlanta's a sneaky team, in my opinion. I'm not saying the Bills lose. I'm just saying, like,
based on personnel and based on what we have on paper towards them, I'm giving the Bills that edge. We're not even talking about it. Matt Ryan is cool and all. Patterson is doing all right over there, but I think we got that edge.
See, this is a big game for the Bills here.
That is a big one.
Yeah.
I think the Colts take that one.
The Raiders, yeah. Oh, my God.
The Saints. Actually, not even the Saints. The Saints are with the other guy, man. I'd give it to the Panthers.
Simeon? Oh, my. Yeah, you're right. Simeon. I mean, I'll tell you what, they played the Cowboys way better than they played the Bills. Way better.
You put the Ravens over the Rams?
Where did I do that? Oh. I don't know. I might do that.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever. Right, you're right. You're right. For the sake of trying to figure things out here, I think you're right. The Ravens haven't scored more than 22 in a month. I keep forgetting that. Yeah,
the Ravens are not the team that we think they are. You know what I'm saying? They have their struggles.
All right, dude. Based on this, we're at week 18. The Bills aren't in. So
who's in?
Let's try to dissect here what the hell's got to happen. So Ravens or Steelers here?
Are Steelers contending? What do we have it as? Okay, if you put the Steelers in.
So if the Steelers win, it wouldn't change. If the Ravens win, it wouldn't change.
This is bad.
So that might not even matter. Okay, so the Bills win against the Jets. Okay, so so now let's see what else happens here. So Bengals or Browns? I'm taking Bengals.
Okay.
Okay, Green Bay, Tennessee, Colts, Pats.
Yeah, well, listen, Colts winning eliminates the Bills. See, that's the problem.
That's right. I think you're right.
We are not locked to make these playoffs until we start making a run.
Oh my God! No! Yeah, that's only NFC. That's it. They're done. They're not in. So that would be the Bills at 10-7, not in.
So we have to get 11 wins if we want to even sniff the playoffs.
God, dude.
So we have to.
Let's go back. I guess let's switch one of these. If they win here, are they in? Yeah. And then they'd have to play them again. That's what I had. Oh, my God almighty.
We have to beat the Patriots this Sunday. I mean, in a couple weeks, because that's who we play again.
Yeah. Wait, let's see. If they beat Tampa by the grace of God and they lose to New England, are they in? Okay, so they have to win one of those two. That's what it comes down to.
We got to split.
Absolutely have to win one of those.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. If these Bills are going to make these playoffs, obviously bearing that, the teams that need to win, that are supposed to win, we have to beat the Bucs or we have to go and beat New England. We lose both those games, fini. We're done. We're done. We went from contender to freaking pretender. Sit your ass down and get ready for the draft. And by the way, you're picking middle of the pack. You're not even picking top 50.
That's the worst.
You're picking in the 20s. Maybe. Oh,
wow. I don't think I realized until I just did that how much of an uphill climb this really is. I can't lie to you. I feel like crap right now after doing that for like 5 minutes.
This is the thing. People don't realize it. I guess I'm gonna speak for some. Some people don't realize how detrimental this loss was. It was mentally draining. We got embarrassed. Maybe this is a spark, but how many times have we been saying, maybe because we just lost to the Jags, they'll wake up. Maybe because when we played the Miami Dolphins and we were 3-3 at halftime, we'll wake up. We haven't woken up. We keep pressing snooze. Keep pressing the damn snooze button. Wake your asses up, Bills.
See, here's how you know it's bad. My man Josh Allen coming in saying, how can they get in if they lose to the Pats and the Bucs? I don't think I got enough time in my hands, JA, there to dissect.
Let's talk about it though, honestly. There's, you know what it is? Hold on a second, because there is a lot. We don't have time for that, but we'll have to figure it out. But it's one of those situations where we're hoping that other teams lose. We're hoping for losses from teams that have no business losing. Like we're hoping a Texans team catches a Colts team slipping.
So essentially, the easiest way that we would get in that way is if the Raiders beat the Colts in week 17. Josh Allen.
So if we lose to the Bucs and the Bucs and Pats,
yes,
we need the Raiders to win week 17.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Well, and that's assuming. Well, wait a minute. What if they beat the Raiders, but the Patriots beat the Colts? Okay, so the Bills would be in. So what we need is the Colts, The Colts need to
lose to the
Colts need
Patriots.
to lose. Yes. Let me see.
And that's how we get in, and we play the Chiefs again.
So 1, 2. Where's the Colts here? The Colts on a bye week on week 4. Okay, they're still on the bye week, so they have 2, 3, 4, 5. So they need to lose 2 of their remaining 5. The Colts, the Bills,
and who do the Colts play? They play the Patriots. One of them.
So the Colts play the Texans this week. W.
Yeah.
Week 14 bye. Week 15 Patriots. Week 16 Cardinals. Week 17 Raiders. Week 18 Jags. So it's 2 pretty easy games, and then like 3 pretty.
So what you're saying is we have a chance if we lose.
Yes.
To the other squad.
Yes. So that right there is essentially the best way to get in if they find a way to lose both those games. Which, if you were to have a gun to my head right now, Rico, my answer would be yes, they lose both those games.
Right now, yes. And nothing is giving us any reason to believe that they will. The only person that gives me a chance that they can do something is number 17. But number 17 needs number 14. And number 14 needs number 73, needs number 60, needs number 75. They need those guys. Because if those guys don't show up, we aren't going anywhere. This O-line is showing themselves right now. Nobody respects our O-line. Mitch Morse is getting bullied. Deion Dawkins has been MIA. We don't have the real.
What's going on, my man Deion? I hate.
You feel me? Spencer Brown is a rookie, and people want to talk about how great Spencer Brown is, but he's piss poor at pass blocking. He's not a pass blocker. He's a run blocker, but definitely not a pass blocker. I mean, the line is just not good. Not good. And you got Josh Allen playing behind it.
Above all this, you want to know what the most insane thing is? It's not even really with what the Bills got going on. The New England Patriots are the 1 seed right now. I can't even, dude. I don't even have a word to put in there. I can't believe it. And the way things look towards the end here, I think that sticks.
Listen, I think this offense is too good for us to not make it. We're gonna make this damn playoffs, but it's gonna be a fight. We're gonna need to win games. We're gonna have to win out. If you want to make it, you got to win out.
By the way, in that scenario that we just played out, they would play the Chiefs in the wild card at Arrowhead. So
it's disgusting. It doesn't matter how you look at it. There's no easy win. There's no easy game going forward.
No. And you want to know what really pains me is if they do make.
And here's the deal. At the end of the day, too, when Z-Bot comes back, and I don't know if it's I'm the one that's frozen or Z-Bot's frozen, but here's what it comes down to: win out. Win the games going forward. There's got to be an urgency there. We just can't mess this up. Z-Bot, you back?
I'm back. My bad. Yeah, I don't know what that was.
We just can't mess this up. What I was telling people is that there's got to be a sense of urgency that needs to be put forward going forward. Now, if Coach McDermott has to now become a dickhead just to get these guys to understand how serious this is, all right, then I got to be a dickhead, because even you got some people talking about, looked like McDermott's on the hot seat. What?
I hate that. To me, see, that's another thing. They're right up there with the team. They're right up there with the everybody who says that this team could lose out, and they'd still love them. Like that, those pessimistic fans to it right there too. It's like, come on, like what are you?
I do want to ask you, how do you feel about a run game?
You know what's funny? When you look at the stats, it's like, what is it? Like they're like 11 or 12. It's insane. I don't even understand how that's possible. I don't even understand that's possible
because of Josh Allen.
You're right. Yeah, exactly. No, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. I don't know what else to put it. There's also no creativity. Every run is the exact same play. And I just, to me, it was inevitable 7-8 weeks ago that this wasn't ever going to be a team that could run the ball. And yet every week, nothing changes. It's always the exact same. It's always the exact same mindset when it comes to the run game.
But you want to know what's really cool? While we're doing this and we're talking Bills football, we are sitting at 340 people watching right now. do us a favor, smash that like button for Z-Bot.
Hit it, baby.
Hit it, baby.
Ow. I got to say, though, back to the run game, though, when you have one thing we didn't talk about a whole lot is how do you scheme up the amount of runs that Allen had on Thanksgiving night against the Saints in a dome, in a game that you pretty much had won from the jump? How do you do it then, but not do it at all on Monday night? That to me doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. Can I show you something that makes no sense to me again?
Please.
I'm gonna show you something. Just hang tight. I need the viewers to see what I'm gonna show here. I don't know if you guys see this. Now, this here is my friend Zach Moss. Zach Moss, look at it. We're at the 7-yard line. 7-yard line. All right? Maybe the 8. Zach Moss is running the rock. All right? Tell me you guys see this. He gets the handoff. I'm going to let you guys play. I'm going to play it in full. You're going to notice. I'm going to narrate it. He makes a jump cut that he faces Spencer Brown. It's a quick cut. I'm going to show you right now. Jump cut right there. He faces the sideline and cuts back inside. Why are you cutting back inside when you've got green pastures? Look at the top of the screen. Green pastures.
You know what? I said earlier, I thought if he took it outside, it wouldn't matter. I didn't realize he was going outside and then cut it back in until right now. Okay, I thought he was going inside the whole way.
I need to explain this to folks, okay? Now, here's the deal. Running back is such a beautiful position, right? You can manipulate defenders with your body language, with what you do with your feet. Linemen don't know what's going on. They're on their leverage. They're leveraging on what the defensive lineman is doing. So if he feels the defensive lineman kind of shift inside, you've manipulated that defensive lineman to shift inside. Now, here's the deal. I'm going to replay this again. Zach Moss partially did a good job, right? Makes the cut. He gets it. Makes that little jump cut, right? Right here. There's that jump cut.
Yep.
Okay. Now, most people think just go outside. Not yet. He's still got to manipulate. He's got a lineman and he's got a corner. So then he looks like he's going inside right there. Okay. This is where you got to get creative. He's already made his mind up. With athleticism, you bounce that outside. You've already got the corner to bite inside and you head to the sideline. But nope. Let me just keep going inside. This kills me. This kills me. Now, I respect a lot of the film gurus out there. Eric Turner being one of them. This is what he does. You know what I'm saying? But we got our film guru ourselves in Kendall and Clay. I hope they go through this. Yeah. And he's saying that it was not possible for that run to bounce outside. And
that angle, it looks way more possible than the one Eric showed, though. Eric showed the back end.
Okay. And I was trying to get the back end to show you guys what the back end looked like, but it's the same. Okay. The only difference is what you see from the back end is Mitch Morse loses the block, which allows the lineman to swallow up you'll see it in just a second. It swallows up Zach Moss, right? But if he stays true to it, you got to press the line a little bit, get these guys to commit, run that jump cut, right? You have two options, inside or out. This is why in the combine, they have that stupid drill where they have that dummy and they switch it from left to right so you can jump cut. This is the drill right here. He chose to go inside. Disappointment because he bounces that outside. Let's just say he doesn't get the touchdown. Let's just say he does not get the touchdown. He's knocking on the door of the goal line. And I'll take my chances with Zach Moss to make the defender make a business decision with a corner rather than a freaking lineman and a linebacker. That play right there changes the whole game. You score that, now you've got Mac Jones that is now playing from behind. So you're not going to be this is my opinion. You're not going to be that much committed to the run. Now you're going to have to open it up by throwing the ball. And maybe there it changes the game. But we have running backs that just want the contact and they don't see. You put Breida in that damn same position, he's taking that. He's bouncing out to the outside.
Does
I had
that
to
play
get that off my
bother
chest.
you?
A lot of people didn't understand me, what I was saying, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just because I don't do the film guru stuff doesn't mean I don't know, you know what I mean, some of the things I'm talking about. I mean, sometimes I'm wrong, but
I'm
this
with
one
you.
here,
I'm not like that either.
listen, this one here, running back easily could have manipulated that, but he didn't. But
Does
here
that
we are.
play bother you more than the Knox drop?
This play bothers me more than the Knox drop.
Really? Okay.
For
Wow.
sure.
So you're really
which Knox drop are you talking about here? Because
where
there's
Allen's on the run to the right side. He's around the 12, 13 yard line. He just flat out drops it going around.
That was a very good play by the defender, though. Phillips was on his back end.
It was a great play on both sides. It just felt like he had it. Like he went to the ground with it and everything.
He did, but Phillips's hand was right there the whole time. Trust me, I was with you when I saw that. I was like, oh, you got to catch that, Knox. But that was a really good play by the defender. Now, I wish he would have shielded it more while going down, but the leverage was there and he pulled it out. By the way, we got 300 people watching right now. Salute to you guys. This is the smoke break. We're live right now. We're doing it right now. What's Jason got to say?
Jason says, I think that was meant to be an option pass to Knox, a play we have had success on, but the end stayed with him. I'd have to see it again. That'd be interesting if that was the case. Either way, though, I mean, it was there. And the one thing, Rico, I got to go back to because I keep seeing this on Twitter and it's just annoying me.
What's up?
Yeah, it wasn't a drop from Diggs, in my opinion. That was an unbelievably tough catch to make. Like I don't. You're different with me. It seems so tough.
It was, listen, at the end of the day, the ball was on the money. Josh,
it was
so good and so accurate that it hit Diggs in the hand. Now, where Diggs' head was, you know what I'm saying? And I think he was expecting it on the inside. It looked as if he was, but maybe the ball kind of floated on the other side. So you saw him had to adjust and just not in time. And he had his hands out. It's like he lost it in the lights. I'm not sure what happened, but that's something that should have been caught. You have to catch that. Whether you want to call it a drop, whatever you want to call it, it hit him in the arm. Man,
usually I'm so pessimistic about it, and like something about it to me just felt like it was way tougher than it looked. And I think that it was just spinning around. Yeah, like because if anybody's gonna make it, it would have been him. And I just think that. But you want to know the thing I took from that play the most, Rico? Not that Diggs dropped it. The fact that Allen was capable of making that throw in the win. Why was there not more to that the rest of the game?
That's a great question.
They did it again at the final drive. Diggs caught it on the sideline. Where was it?
Which goes back to what I mentioned earlier. Is there something going on with the OC and the head coach?
I think
OC's like, I got this. I know Belichick. I got something dialed up for him. Coach is like, nah, fam, you're going to run that ball. You're going to run it, and you're going to run it till I tell you to stop running it. Now, here's something more interesting. You have two return men. And you... What Evil Empire? What's Evil Empire say before I get into it? He says
he's killing me. He just says
Bills fans,
ditch
the sinking ship and join the Empire because it's gonna be ass whooping per usual. Oh boy! Hey, listen, man. They have to enjoy themselves. They got to. They're feeling good right now.
I would be.
They're feeling good right now. But at the end of the day, McDermott. How did you feel about McDermott deactivating McKenzie and Stevenson?
What's going on? I don't understand it. And then to take that shot at him in the post game and saying he didn't trust it. Did you see McKenzie respond to Thad Brown? I think it was on Twitter, who tweeted that out.
Yes.
And he said he had no idea. What's going on with McKenzie? I understand he fumbled the ball against the Colts. I know. What's going on? I don't understand that. There's no one's explaining it.
If you can't be trusted, can't be on the field. This is what it is. You can't be trusted to hold on to the football, can't be on the field, right? Look at Matt Breida. Fumbles a handoff, open the breadbasket. Everybody knows if you played football back in the day and you played running back, and even if you didn't play running back, they made you do drills no matter what.
Dude,
open up your breadbasket and let the quarterback put it in there. As soon as you feel that against yourself, your chest, your belly, close it up and let's go, right? Simple as that. Here comes Breida. What is this?
What was that? I don't get it.
You don't ever take a handoff like this, like you're getting grabby. Open up the damn thing. Let Allen put it in your damn gut, and let's keep it moving. and then you fumble the ball. You give
And that,
back,
of course, was after the punt of a lifetime where you literally are gifted the ball at the 40. Chris Matlock.
This miscues. That's what it comes down to. Chris Matlock. What's Chris Matlock? Chris says, I love this channel. You can't give Edmonds a pass tonight. His ass stands still and overruns plays. Oh boy. Well, those are the facts. He did over pursue a lot of plays, but that's been his MO for a long time. Now he kind of got rid of it a little bit last year and a lot this year, but he still has those tendencies. Now, the real question is, do you bring him back? You signed his 5th year, but is he that long-term deal guy?
I know. It's a tough move. It really is. I think you do. I think that they will. I think that they definitely will.
Let's not get off his ass though, because I need to see this, right? Who was the last thumper middle linebacker that we had that it was tough to just kind of embarrass him? Like you had to see this guy in the hole. Do you remember who was the last linebacker? And this goes to the chat as well. Who was the last thumper linebacker we had that like you had to see me, and you knew that this guy was ready? He's about that action. Can we go as far as Paul Posluszny?
You're going back to Paz, huh?
Right? Can we go back as Paul? Okay, let's fast forward. Who after Paul, middle linebacker that was like, okay, you can't mess with that dude. Brandon Spikes. Brandon Spikes is a good name. Middle linebacker, thud, thumper. You don't do that. You cannot come and run up the gut and think you're gonna get there.
London Fletcher.
He may not be fleet of foot, but you're definitely gonna run his ass over. Give me something else. Give me somebody else. People, talk to me now.
Fletcher's up. I love that.
Give me Sooner. I don't want to go far back as Bryce Pop. London Fletcher was nice. You didn't mess with London Fletcher. 5'9" frame, but you didn't mess with London Fletcher. Right?
You have somebody in mind?
I'm thinking on the top of my head right now. I'm trying to think, because right now we don't have a thumper at middle linebacker. We got like more finesse type of guys, right? Sideline to sideline, but like Edmonds is not a thumper. He's no Urlacher, and I'm not gonna ever try to bring him as an Urlacher, but he's not a guy that is menacing, that is going to like, he's nasty. He's not. We haven't had that. We had who was it that we had? Nigel Bradham, who would lay the lumber. You wouldn't just mash all over Nigel Bradham. He would lay the lumber. He would give it to you. We don't have a nasty linebacker. We don't. And I'm waiting for us to bring one on. Because if we can go maybe traditional 4-3 defense now, have a thud middle linebacker, and then we have Milano and my man's on on both outsides. Now, that's not our MO. That's not McDermott's defense. He's got a nickel back. He needs a nickel defense, and Teron Johnson is nice like that. But we don't have a thud guy. You look at the freaking New England Patriots.
They don't have a thud guy anywhere, though. They don't have a nasty guy anywhere. If you think about it,
give me some nasty then.
That's what I'm saying. Like when people were talking last night, the one word I kept seeing popped up from people who were willing to be honest about what that game was, it is soft, and I can understand that.
Oh boy!
Anytime that a team has gotten physical with them, they have lost. The Titans are very physical. The Colts are very physical. The Jags were unbelievably physical with them. They lost. And there's some truth to that. 100%.
We need guys that need to bring that nasty. And I don't know who's nasty on that team. I think Poyer can bring that nastiness. He has that streak in him. Teron Johnson can come and bring the lumber, but like I don't see anybody that's nasty like that, man. Like,
it's funny. You don't really see it around the league.
You don't.
Anymore, you don't.
You don't see it. Kyle Duggar, nasty. He will lay the lumber on your ass. He definitely will. When you're looking at the New England Patriots, I mean, let me go to the Jets. The Jets have, like Mosley, imposing. He's a big boy. He will lay the lumber on your ass, man. Where's our nasty? We ain't got no nasty. And right now, it's showing. Your softness is showing, and nothing worse than when you get called soft. Oh, nothing worse. As a man, you get called soft, Bill. You soft. Man.
Get that as a professional sports player too. I mean, that's got to be right, especially being in that type of profession. You know what I mean? Like that has got to hurt.
And the whole league is seeing that I mean, people call you soft. Media's now saying, yo, this team is soft, man. Come on.
What was your thoughts on the reaction? What was your thoughts on Micah Hyde's overall reaction as far as like?
I'm so glad you asked me that.
Yeah, like not just like the whole, 14 points, whatever. But like when he's walking off, like the whole like.
I'm so glad you asked me.
It's everywhere. Yeah, give me a rundown here. Go ahead.
First of all, I respect Micah Hyde. I like Micah Hyde. He's one of the best pieces on our team, no question. All right, nobody can say I'm talking shit about, but that is the epitome of soft. You know what I'm saying? And you could hear Jerry says, back in my day.
Yeah.
Okay. I know that's super old school. And that's like, you know what I'm saying? Like back in my day, you know what I'm saying? But there's a point to it, right? So we talk about how in society these days, everything's soft. Even the league right now is soft with all the stuff that's going on right now, right? Even society, new generation, even they're saying our generation is soft. You know, back in my day, we didn't do that stuff, right? I'm an 80s baby. I got the best of both worlds. Zach, you were a young buck. What year were you born in? You were 90s?
97, baby.
Right, we ain't talking to you, man. So I'm 84. Okay. So we were in the age of like, there was no, you know what I'm saying, internet and tablets and all that stuff. We didn't have that shit. We were still raised by old school folks, but we were coming into the new school stuff. So we got a bit of both. You know what I'm saying? You knew these new softness, it doesn't work. So when you see Micah Hyde, like, man, I come out here and answer all these questions for you guys, and this is the respect I get. Like, what? The man's doing his job. He's doing his job. He's asking the questions so the audience can understand what's happening. This cookie cutter thing that you've been doing for 17 weeks since last year ain't cutting no more. You know what I'm saying? With all due respect, yeah. Jerry did his job. But Micah answering the way he answered, it's like, yo, fam, either you just say, yo, man, I'm out of here. Thanks for you guys. We'll see you next week. Keep it moving. But now you make it look like you're so bothered by this. You're so bothered by the questioning. Are you embarrassed? Hell yeah, I'm embarrassed. Say it. Yes, I'm embarrassed. And you keep it moving. But then when you go on a rhetoric of, oh, I can't believe you said that. I have respect for you guys. That is soft. That is soft. Yo, fam, keep it moving. So now when you see your starting safety, you know what I'm saying? The safety, like back when we played, your safety was your last line of defense. And if you came across that middle, you lay the lumber. We don't got any of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then you have this coming across my screen talking about, oh, to me, the question was legitimate. Are you embarrassed? You answer it. Yes, I'm embarrassed. This sucks. I don't like losing to a team that didn't even throw the damn ball more than 5 times. Yes, it sucks. Okay, he has his little thing. He writes it in his article. Yep, Michael Hyde said it sucks. He doesn't like losing to a team that da-da-da-da-da. But you made it into a big thing. Now that's what the talk of the town is. The talk of the town is not that you guys lost, right? That's at the forefront. Now it's like, what's his team made? What's his team made of? Your coach is getting questioned. Your safety is getting questioned. Everybody's getting questioned. Right now, it's going to be a spicy week for the Bills. And the Bills can shut everybody up if they beat playoff Lenny, 4-tutty Lenny, and shut up Mr. Brady. That'll tell everybody, that will calm everybody down because we all love Tom Brady, right? So if we make sure that we take care of Tom Brady, we're good. But if we don't, bring up that playoff simulator. We ain't going nowhere.
I don't want to see that thing again. My God. Before we wrap up, we go one last thing I want to talk to you about. I talked about before you came in. Thoughts on the McDermott saying that we shouldn't give more credit than what's due to Bill Belichick based on how the game wound up panning out. I thought the answer was legitimate.
I thought it was too. I agree. Don't. Bill Belichick is great. And that's what he said. He's great. But like, let's take Bill Belichick out of there. This wasn't because Bill Belichick was so awesome and that's he neutralized us and this, that, and the third. We didn't execute. We were in the freaking red zone 4 times.
Yep.
We got gifted one, first and foremost, but we were in the red zone 4 times. They were in the red zone once and didn't even get it. So don't tell me about Bill Belichick is so great. No, we didn't execute. Our offensive sucks. Our offense didn't do shit. Our defense got run over. We sucked. It was nothing to do with them. It was more to do with us. Feeney. So to me, it was legitimate what he said. He sounded very salty, but those were the facts. I have no bones about it. Now I hope he brings that nastiness to the rest of the week in the locker room and make these guys, you know what I'm saying, know what's at stake here. Because if you guys don't know what's at stake coming up against Tom Brady and you can't get up for that game, I don't know what to tell you. Zebot, how did you feel about it?
That's not. See, I said earlier, I felt that it was made into be this whole diss against Bill Belichick. It wasn't. What it was essentially McDermott saying we flat out lost this game. It's not Belichick's. It's not credit to Belichick that we got to the red zone 4 times and didn't do anything. It's not credit to Belichick that we mismanaged and miscoached this entire game. We burnt timeouts when we should know. We were making challenges that were never going to get reversed. We were dropping balls. We were doing this and that. That's what he was saying. He wasn't discrediting anything Bill Belichick did. He was saying that we're not going to give credit to Belichick for the fact that we completely lost this game ourselves. And it just so happened to be that the team across from us is also a pretty damn good team. But he's right. Like he said, give me those chances every time. If I get the ball in the red zone 4 times, they get it once, they go 0 for 1. We start the possessions with the ball at the 40 on average. What he was saying was, it's not credit to Bill Belichick that we completely blew this game. So,
yep, I'm with it. So here's my question for you before we get out of here, because we've been rocking for a minute, for an hour and 40 minutes, man. Golly. So you're looking at this team. You're looking at how we're constructed. Are we good enough to make the playoffs? Like, are we good enough? Like, honestly, teams have exposed us now. So now we got to figure out if we meant to be? Are we one of the best 7?
In the AFC, they're one of the best 7. Because if you look at the AFC, I think they're better than Cleveland. I think they're better than the Steelers. I think they're better than the Raiders, the fringe teams, the Broncos. They're not better than any of the other teams that are going to make the playoffs. That's my issue. I think they make the playoffs, especially because down the stretch here, you got the Jets and the Falcons and the Panthers. And you know what? I mean, it's easy for me to say this now, but like I also said in the beginning of the year, they got the Jaguars and they got the this and that. Like, it's easy to say this stuff, right? I mean, it is, but ultimately the way they've been playing, nothing's set in stone, and you're never, ever going to know what you're going to get from this team, ever. It's either going to be an utter dominant blowout or they're going to just completely implode, and it's going to be one of the worst outings you've ever seen. And they continue to compound that, seriously. So, yes, I think they're one of the best 7 in the AFC, mainly because outside of the top of the AFC, I think it definitely weakens. Whereas I think if you look at the NFC, I think it's the same there too. Like, if I look at both sides, now with the 7th team, it seems to really get all of the main contenders in, right? And I would say in the AFC, the Bills are a team that nobody would want to face. Is that fair to say? Whereas like that to me is a good litmus test. Like, if you're talking about a playoff team,
I like that.
Right? Like, would you want to face the Bills? My guess is no. Like, could you beat them? Yes. Would you want to face them? No. Whereas like, would I want to face the Houston Texans? Absolutely. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So from that, it's kind of like, it's here or there, but top 7 in the AFC. Yes. But when I look at it, Rico, I think they could lose to the Patriots. If the Bengals show up like they did against the Steelers, they could easily lose to them. I think they could lose to the Titans. We've already seen it happen. Even without Derrick Henry, I think they could do it. I think it would be really, really hard to beat the Chiefs twice, especially because the Chiefs are not who they already have played. I think if Herbert had a good game, they could easily lose that. And we know how tough these games are when we play them against Baltimore. Rico, I think they get there. I don't love their chances against anybody.
The amount of stuttering you've done in this small little segment now doesn't tell me you're confident at all.
That's what pains me, because I have to dance. I have to do this mental gymnastics. You're right.
You have to myself feel better. You dance for me, because right now the Bills have put themselves in a position right now where they're now going to depend on a lot of people, and they've got to depend on themselves. Like, who's going to step up? That's what it comes down to. Who's going to step up? Are we going to have veteran guys step up and do their thing? Or are we just going to be wasting time and losing games that we shouldn't be losing? Carl, what's Carl's got to say?
Carl's basically saying after the Jags debacle, Bills came out week 10 versus the Jets, dialed up some creative plays. I was at that game, and they sure as hell did. They sure as hell did. They were creative all game long. They had like 6 or 7 guys get a run attempt in that game.
Did.
Seriously, it was
Even
all over
had
the place.
McKenzie was involved.
That's a good point, Carl. He's basically saying we need to see that again against the Bucs, and I couldn't agree more. We needed to see it last night, for God's sake.
But here's the thing. It's the Jets. All right? Like, let's cut it out. Like, the teams that we haven't beat anybody. And I hated that people kept on saying, who have the Patriots beat? They beat the Bills. Okay?
I know. I hated that, too. Who the hell have the Bills beaten, Rico?
Nobody.
I mean, when they beat the Chiefs, they were down bad. And outside of that, there hasn't been an impressive win. I'm sorry.
Thank you. And guess what? Chiefs. Now, this is what gives me a sense of hope. Because Chiefs were down bad. They were spiraling out of control. Their guy that usually throws for 300-400 yards was throwing for like 120, 200 yards. So we're like, wow, they're back down to reality. They've strung some wins together. The Chiefs have strung some wins together, and now they're rising back to the top. So this gives me some hope. Yeah,
their defense went from one of the worst to all of a sudden look out. You know what I'm saying?
Because they put some focus on it. Guys, we got to get our act together. And the Bills sitting here bullshitting. So if we can sit there and if the Chiefs can do it, we certainly can. You know what I'm saying? So we need to get our act together and make this thing go down. You know what I'm saying? Because this is it, man. Like, we don't get our shit together, man. Like, we're going to be asking way more questions than solutions are going to be presented. There's going to be way more questions to be asked. And we don't want to do that. We don't.
I couldn't agree more. Rico, we're just under 2 hours here. This was lit, man. And I'm not shitting you. I felt like complete ass all night and day. I swear, I tell everybody that every week on here, having the ability to come and do this every week, it always makes me feel better, especially after a loss. Just ranting like this. I'm sure you feel the same because you came in hot. So I'm sure you feel the same.
It's therapeutic, man. Listen, I needed that night. Like, believe it or not, I was ready to go to bed steaming. And then you're like, yo, my thing's not working. I was like, oh, all right, here we go. And then I went on it.
Internet wasn't working and my immune system wasn't working either. I'm so glad you were able to pop up and save me. All right. Hey, everyone, we were like 340 steady the whole way above here. So thank you to all of you. And God bless you. I always say this after a loss like that. I didn't watch a single thing today. I'm a media blackout guy after a win. So for all you folks tuning in and getting a rant in with us, we appreciate you. And Bucks on Sunday. We want to rebound. You know where we got to do it. Rico, anything else?
Listen, man, Z-Bot, you are the man. And
that's you, brother. You know it.
This is the Monday night. Listen, this is typically a Monday night, but we have to switch things up, man. Keep tuning in live Monday night with man Z-Bot. He's doing his thing, man. He's getting comfortable. I like the background music. Love it.
Oh, this was handmade from my man in Germany. I love it.
I love it. I remember that story. That's great.
Oh, it's a good one. All right, we're ranting. We'll see y'all later. Get money out of your head, onto the Bucks. Enjoy it. Go Bills.
Let's go. Go Bills.